Step outside the wall. This is outside the wall. Outside the wall.
Welcome to Outside the Walls, where we explore the invisible barriers that quietly shape our lives and discover the freedom waiting on the other side. Last week, we talked about the wall of comfort, the routines, the familiar, the places we stay simply because they're predictable. But comfort rarely stands alone. It has a close companion, fear. Because once we begin to think about stepping outside of our comfort zone, fear immediately starts making its case, asking questions like, what if it doesn't work? What if I fail? What if I regret it? Comfort is often the first wall we encounter, but once we decide to climb over it, we usually run straight into another one, the wall of fear. Fear keeps us from taking the next step. It convinces us that staying put is safer than moving forward. So let's chat about that today. A few years ago, I heard a former college football coach talking about recruiting players. He said something that stayed with me. He wasn't looking for the player who never felt pressure. He was looking for the player who knew how to play while feeling pressure. That is a huge difference. And every athlete feels fear. Every quarterback has butterflies before kickoff. Every golfer standing over a 3-foot putt feels pressure. And every batter knows what it's like to step into the box with the game on the line. The professionals aren't fearless. They've simply learned that fear gets to ride in the car, but it doesn't get to drive the car. That lesson doesn't only apply to sports, it applies to life. The people we admire most aren't people who've eliminated fear. They're the people who refuse to let fear make their decisions. Here's what I've learned. Fear is actually trying to help us. Fear is designed to protect us. If we're standing near the edge of a cliff, fear's kind of useful. If we're walking down a dark alley, fear can keep us alert. But our brains don't always distinguish between physical danger and emotional discomfort. So we react to giving a presentation, changing careers, starting a business, having a difficult conversation, or pursuing a dream, the same way we might react to real danger. Our brain says, stay where you are. Don't risk it, play it safe. The challenge is that fear has become incredibly sophisticated. It rarely says, be afraid. Instead, it disguises itself as logic, saying things like, this isn't the right time. I need one more certification. I need more savings. I need to think about this a little bit longer. And sometimes those reasons are legitimate. And sometimes they're simply butterflies that we need to have fly in formation. And that's what makes this wall so difficult to recognize. Fear doesn't shout, it whispers. It sounds responsible, it sounds practical, heck, it even sounds wise. Until you realize you've been having the same conversation with yourself for 5 years. And here's another truth. Fear isn't always about failure. Sometimes we're afraid of success because success changes expectations. Success creates responsibility. Success might even mean leaving behind the identity we've grown so comfortable with. Which brings me to one of my favorite quotes. Courage is not the absence of fear. It's acting in spite of it. And courage isn't reserved for soldiers, firefighters, or elite athletes. It's found in ordinary people making extraordinary decisions. Making the phone call, apologizing first, taking that first step. Not because we're not afraid, but because they decided fear doesn't get the final vote. Imagine looking back 10 years from now. What do you think you'll regret more? The things that didn't work out or the opportunities you never pursued because fear convinced you not to try? I know my answer. The failures in my life certainly have taught me a lot of valuable lessons, but the moments I still think about, the ones that linger, are often the chances I never took. Fear, that promises safety, but it quietly steals possibility. It convinces us that staying right where we are is the safest choice. Yet over time, the greatest risk may be living a life that's smaller than the one we were meant and capable of living. So this week, I want to leave you with one question. Where has fear been making decisions that should belong to you? Maybe it's one conversation, one opportunity, one apology, one dream you've placed on the shelf because the timing never felt perfect. You don't have to tear the entire wall down today. Simply unlock the door. Take one step and then another, because confidence doesn't come before action. It grows because of action. And once you begin walking beyond fear, you'll notice something interesting. The next wall isn't just inside you, it's all around you. It's the opinions, expectations, and approval of other people. And that's exactly where we're headed next. Until then, remember this: fear may speak, it just doesn't have to decide.
This is outside the wall. Outside the wall.
The walls may be invisible, but they don't have to define your life. I'm Dave Gast. Until next time, life changes outside the walls.